Hi guys, today we are going to solve the 169th problem, majority element. It says, given an array nums of size n, return the majority element. The majority element is the element that appears more than n divided by 2 times. You may assume that the majority element always exists in the array. And you are given as an example the list of numbers 3 to 3 and output the number 3 because it's the one that appears the most. And also you are given the list of numbers 2 2 1 1 1 and 2 2, and as output you must return the number 2 because it appears 4 times and the number 1 only appears 3 times. So this problem is kind of easy to solve. Your first approach must be using a hash map. You're going to do something like this. You're going to create a hash map that has as a key the element, in this case 3, and after that the amount of time it has appeared. So here we have 3 and it has appeared 2. After that we are going to check the second number, that is 2. It only has appeared 1, so let's put it here. And also we have our 3 here, so it's in our hash map, so let's increase our number. And you must return, you can return all the element that have the greatest value, or you can just create something like this, a constant called a majority. It will be our length of our list divided by 2. Or you can also return the element that has appears more than this majority. So to do it in code, you are going to create first a hash map. After that you are going to traverse the majority value. That in order to do that you are going to first get the length, the size of our list, and divide it by 2, and you are going to round this down. You are going to create a loop to traverse our entire list, and you are going to check if we have our element. Let's create our value element. Give me a second. You are going to check if we have the element at our hash map. If it's not, add it. So if we don't have this element at our hash map, you are going just to add it and set it to 0. By the way, this is the JavaScript way to know if you have an element in your hash map. And after that, after you have created the element, you are going to add 1 to the current value of it. And once you have done that, you need to check if the value of our element in our hash map is greater than our majority. Then you are going to return the element, and here you are going to check if our nums length is equals or lower than 0, then returns nums position 0. And so this should do the work. Let's test it. No, it's not working undefined. Let's see why. Majority, HashMap, one element, num at position E. If HashMap element, okay, equals, oh no, here it should be undefined. Now let's test it. Okay, now it's work, and let's submit. Okay, as you can see in runtimes, it be 35%, and in memory, 92%. By the way, we can replace element for this value, and this should be even better. Oh, yes, element. Okay, and probably this will give you a better result. Yes, a little better. So this is the first wave I thought to solve this problem. After that, I just went to the solutions and see a few examples. I want you to check this example right here. Click here. This other way to solve this problem is saying something like, hey, create a counter variable and also a current candidate variable. The thing is, your counter at first set to 0 and your candidate also. If your counter is 0, set the current candidate. By the way, this left is the current candidate and this is our counter. If our counter is 0, sets all your candidate to the element you are checking. Now, if you move on the list, if your element is your current candidate, increase the counter. And now, if your element is the current candidate, increase your counter. If the element isn't our current candidate, decrease our counter. Now the element isn't our current candidate, so you need to decrease your counter. Now it's this element or current candidate, no, so you need to decrease the counter. And remember that if our counter is 0, you must put as your current candidate that element. So that's the reason why B have increased. B is now our current candidate. And here you are going to decrease, increase, decrease, increase. And you can see that our C is our candidate that have the most appears in our list. To solve this in code, actually you can just copy and paste this code because it gives you a really well, these text describe really well the algorithms. So you need to maintain a pair consisting of a current candidate and a counter. So you must create two variables. Let candidate equals 0 and let counter equals 0. And remember that the current candidate is now, and that's because I put it as 0, and the counter is 0. So when we move the pointer forward an element E, so we must do a for loop. Plus. Okay, first, if the counter is 0, if counter equals 0, we set the current candidate to E and we set the counter to 1. By the way, E is just the element at the position E in our list. So let's create that variable, just because. Okay, we set the current candidate to E, a counter, and we set the counter to 1. Because counter it will be 0, you can just increase the value. Counter equals, so counter equals counter plus 1, or just counter plus plus. And then we need to check if counter isn't 0, so we can here continue. So if counter isn't 0, we increment or decrement the counter according to whether A is the current candidate. So, so if E equals our candidate, we are going to increase our counter, else we are going to decrease our counter. And that's all. And finally, you just return your candidate. And this should be all. Okay, and as you can see, it works here, and let's submit it. J. And as you can see, it's runs time on 2 seconds. We can make it a little better if you, instead of candidate equals E, says candidate equals not a position E, and you delete this and delete this. This will be working. Okay, now it runs in 1 second. Well guys, that's all for today. See you tomorrow for a new video.